And we're off on another exciting round of the Metroid Prime 80% tournament. On the left, we have FusionVaria, known for her great tasks, tech demonstrations, glitch finds, and webcam streams, as we can see here. On the right, we have gdVertigo, the man who hails from the land unknown and gave us the gift of Exoskip. And today, these two are going to be racing. Getting ready, I'll start getting through targets and heading their way through Frigate. Frigate is the more or less tutorial area for the game, and it teaches our runners how to play the game, which they forget every time they reset. You can see them scanning these scan points and dashing off them. You can combat dash off enemies, but you can also combat dash off scan points. And by letting go of the lock trigger halfway through the dash, you keep your speed and just keep going flying. The race is pretty close right now. We'll see how long that plays out for. gdVertigo is quite a good player at this game. In the short time he's been with the community, he has significantly improved his PB from a modest time to one of the best in the world. Kind of up here, we're going to see our first little trick to make a room faster, biohazard containment. By bomb jumping up to that pipe, getting in that ledge, and sticking yourself in there, you can reposition to the second floor. Hazel going for her attempt and gets it. Nice. Vertigo, unfortunately, not getting any good pirate RNG. If you move correctly, you can have the pirate jump on top of the morph ball, and if you kill it while that happens, some pretty crazy stuff can happen. But unfortunately, the pirate was not cooperating for us tonight. Vertigo taking a safety save there. Coming up after this boss fight will be a pretty hard wall crawl, or out of bounds segment. So just taking that save so he doesn't have to do the first part of Frigate again if he fails it. Oh no. Because he took the save, the timing is off and he has to wait for this shield. But coming right up after this shield is rapid missiles. So by resetting the arm cannon by pressing A after pressing a missile or holding the C up button, you can rapidly fire them much faster than intended. And because the first boss has such a low health bar, it doesn't take many missiles to finish it off. And here was the trick I was talking about. There's a precise clip here in this corner, and he gets it. By morphing in that corner, you can get out of bounds. And what follows is something the community calls wall crawling, because it stems from an older Metroid game, but it fits fairly well here. We're just crawling along these walls to advance through the map. Going this way, instead of the intended escape sequence, is much shorter. The strange movement you're seeing where they morph and land on specific parts of the room, that's to hit load triggers that load the next room. This game does not have the entire world loaded at one time. So they need to touch the triggers to load the next room to advance the game. And then they need to walk over the doors to advance the map to the next room, because you can only be in one room at a time. What they were doing to ascend that elevator there is called ether jumping. Every room is surrounded by a box, and by moving in and out of that box, you have a very short window where you can jump. So repeatedly jumping up will let you ascend tall rooms quickly when out of bounds. Vertigo getting back inside. Hazel not far behind, having a very good escape for both of these runners so far. These last few rooms are some of the trickiest because of the load times associated. So the last one is the most risky. If you miss what Hazel just did there, is called a door warp. Oh no, and she fell. So this is the risk I was talking about. You need to move in front of the door so that when the room loads, you load around it. And if you miss that area, if you're outside of the hallway when the room loads, you'll fall just like Hazel did to the bottom of the room. This room is quite large, so finding the edge of the box to either jump up it like they did at the elevator is very difficult. And I don't know, it looks like Hazel's going to be going for that. On the right side, we have gdVertigo doing space jump first. By dashing off a scan point to the ledge that you would normally have to wait for boost ball to get to, you can get space jump. So while Vertigo is making his way to Chozo, I think Hazel is still looking for that corner to get out of this pit that she's in. I believe they called it space jump because like in some of the other 2D Metroids, it gives you a second jump. It doesn't actually increase your normal jump height. But unlike the other 2D Metroids, it only gives you one jump. So with space jump as Vertigo, we just saw Vertigo do, you can collect a bunch of items out of sequence, one of which is the energy tank and missiles right away without having to fight Hive Mecha. And then you went straight to Morph Ball. Now that Vertigo has Morph Ball, he's going to make his way to bombs. The entire reason to come to Chozo is to just get some required items that the run cannot progress without. On the left side, we still have Hazel, still trying to find a corner in that massive room. It's pretty difficult and the timer's running out. Vertigo opening the map there. This room is somewhat unique. There's others like it that all the rooms connect to it load at once, and by opening the map, it gets that one particular door to open faster. Before Vertigo goes to bombs, he's going to make a quick detour to get Charge Beam. Not strictly necessary, but makes the run a lot faster in many ways. No, Hazel. 1 minute, 20 seconds left on the clock and still hasn't found that corner. It's not looking good. Yeah, Retro had to introduce quite a lot of limitations to the items in this 3D Metroid compared to 2D, mostly for the restrictions of the environments. Rooms can't be as tall or as wide as their 2D counterparts. It's very resource limited in what they can do. So the environments are quite small compared to the 2D counterparts. And it looks like Hazel finally took that L and reset. Unfortunately, she didn't safety save before the wall crawl, so she's going to have to go through the entire frigate again. And it looks like our runners are going to be doing a reset. The Metroid Prime tournament has a rule where we can have one reset at the start of the run, and it looks like our runners are agreeing to take that. So Vertigo's going to ditch out and go back to the main menu, and we're going to start from Frigate all over again. This is the only reset we allow. We're only allowed one reset in this tournament, so we'll see how this one plays out. And Dr. RM, you are right. This run has a lot of run killers, and even though Vertigo is an excellent runner, there's a very good chance he could have soft locked somewhere. He does a lot of hard tricks that can cost the run if done poorly. Vertigo feeling the need, it seems to touch every option at least once. And here we go again, back to Frigate. Almost neck and neck at the first set of targets and going straight into the second. FusionVaria pulling a little bit ahead right there. Looks like Vertigo tried the fast strat, but didn't quite pull it off. All of these rooms in Prime can have varying levels of difficult strats they can do. This game has a very high skill ceiling. Currently, nobody's hit it yet. There is always a better way to do a room, if you're willing to put in the time for it. Something I didn't mention the first time our runners were here is that this elevator cutscene is optional. You can scan the scan point at the door and skip the cutscene, which saves RTA, but the community uses in-game time for this speed run. And watching that cutscene and then walking into the holograms saves a very short amount of time because it spawns you closer to it than you would be standing at the door. There's a couple instances in this run of that unique in-game time optimization strats. The entire route that these runners do, in fact, is to optimize in-game time. There is a faster RTA route, but loses in-game time, so we don't run it. You actually can. You can manipulate a door to load longer by spamming pause. Pausing in this game stops the room from loading. So if you want to make a door take longer to load, just pause at it. That's not very helpful for the speed run, which of course is always trying to go faster, but it can be done. The doors only open when the next room is done loading. They're not random, there's very firm logic behind it, as we saw during the out of bounds sequence before they reset. Just burning through Parasite Queen real quickly with those rapid missiles again. Going for round 2 of the escape. I'm going to be curious what FusionVaria is going to pick this time. She did the wall crawl well, except for the last room. Vertigo getting a very smooth first room there with Bunny House, but then misses the scan finish. Oh no. Vertigo doing inbounds, surprising me. It seems like neither of these runners are taking any chances this time. So inbounds, of course, is slower than the out of bounds, but is much safer. There is no risk of soft locking here. The inbounds portion compared to out of bounds loses about 40, almost, actually it's exactly 40 seconds of RTA. And depending on how well the wall crawl is done, can save anywhere from a minute to around, well, it could save up to a minute of in-game time. But both of these runners agreeing to just take the time loss and get through this frigate safely. And of course, because we are no longer skipping the escape sequence, we can finally see Ridley's glorious reveal, where he just roars and flies up. Fascinating character for sure. gdVertigo doing the swag grapple dash. You don't see that often at any percent, because of course this is the only moment in the run that you have grapple beam. But you can dash off grapple points just like you can off enemies and scan points. Vertigo doing some bunny hopping to get a very respectable inbound time of 4:26. Bunny hopping is by holding both triggers and jumping when you just land, you can jump again without losing almost any speed, which is much faster than regular jumping. But it's difficult because if you don't time your jump right, you'll stop, and you'll lose more time than you would have ever saved. Both runners almost neck and neck here as they leave frigate. Much closer race than last time. Vertigo not saving after leaving frigate. So once again, just going to use that scan point to scan dash up to the sledge to get space jump first. Hey man, FusionVaria is a good suit. That lovely vomit green, backdropped by the beautiful pink. What is there not to love about FusionVaria? There's been no proof that Fusion suit improves performance in any way, but it does look more aerodynamic. Maybe there's something to that. So none of the runners got some basic early game items like missiles, extra health, and morph ball. They're going to head their way to bombs and get charge beam along the way. Like I said before, our goal for here in Chozo is just to get some essential items needed to continue the run. Okay, Vertigo grabbing an extra missile there. It's interesting. I haven't seen that in any percent yet. I remember someone asking about the timing for one of the missiles. I wonder if they timed that to be more optimal than another missile we pick up. I'll have to watch. This is going to be new for me and for chat. So all these rooms they've been going through, they haven't been doing anything strictly defined as glitches yet, or sequence breaks. It's more or less just optimal movement through the room in the intended manners. So scanning the glyphs, jumping on all the platforms, dashing off these scan points, just to get things done faster than you normally could. So gdVertigo coming up here. Let's see, he does not shoot it. I think Vertigo is going to be going for an interesting route this time. We'll see. Not going to say more until I know for sure. Neither runner is shooting the door, so okay. I have a strong suspicion I know which route these runners are going to be taking. I'll know for sure after bombs. Of course, Center Slice. How could they not? Bunny hopping is in the game, therefore it is intended movement. Yeah, FusionVaria's stream, it's not known for its quality. Her internet can be iffy at times, and she is streaming on a webcam, of all things. It could also be that these runners are also not shooting the door because they're going to be coming back there to save anyway. But my intrigue is piqued. She may be streaming on a webcam, but we at the Prime community, we just like watching Prime. We don't care if it's through a webcam or not. I should probably explain this boss. So this is Incinerator Drone. It's the period of time for its weak point to come up is semi-random within a range. It can't go on forever, and but we can't control that period of time in any way. So it's up to us, or it's up to Incinerator Drone to determine how long this boss fight takes. Vertigo is not running with music, so I have no idea how long it took. But both of them finishing fairly close within each other, so it seems like Zoid was pretty nice to them. Zoid, by the way, is the nickname of the developer who scripted that boss fight. Yes. So earlier I mentioned how we have an in-game time and a real-time route. Vertigo is doing the real-time route. We have a nickname for this route. It's called Thug Route because it's got no character. Only routes that run in-game time have character. But anyway, so this route is substantially different than the in-game time route that we have seen many runners do in this tournament before. It gets Ice Beam before Flagra, which is the namesake of this trick and why we call it what we do. By getting Ice Beam before Flagra, we don't have to come back here after going and getting Boost Ball. Instead, we'll be going to Farfandrana, which we'll see later. Both runners opting to do this route. So this is going to be an interesting run to watch. It's going to be very different from what we've seen in this tournament so far. This used to be, with some modifications, the optimal any percent route before some recent finds made this route outdated compared to the current one we run now. But it's still fun. You're going to be seeing some interesting rooms and directions we normally never see in any percent, and some cool tech. This cutscene that Vertigo's watching is skippable, but by not skipping it, you can switch to Ice Beam right away after it, which lets you shoot the door faster instead of waiting for the beam switch. And Vertigo opting to take a safety save here. I wonder, is Vertigo the madman? Is he going to do it? He is! Oh boy, this is a special run. This has never been done on console yet. Vertigo is doing a brand new route that I timed 2 years ago called Early X-Ray. So in addition to getting Ice Beam before Flagra, he is going to get X-Ray before Flagra. What this does is completely eliminate the backtrack here entirely. So after Boost Ball, he will go to Farfandrana and then to Mines. FusionVaria also taking the safety save. I wonder if she's going to do it too. This is a good race. I'm liking this. So to get earlier X-Ray, Vertigo does not have power bombs, so he cannot get in there normally. Instead, he has to do a secret world in Great Chi Chamber right here by locking onto an enemy here. And what he's going to use this enemy for is he's going to dash out of bounds. Let's see if he gets it. He does not. It's a pretty tight dash. This may take a few tries. We'll see. No. So this is why we haven't seen this run on console yet. It has some pretty hard tricks, and this is just part 1 of 2 for the hard tricks. So FusionVaria also going for early X-Ray. She's going to be setting up this dash now. And Vertigo gets it. He is out of bounds. So now his goal, now that he's out of bounds, he has to wall crawl to X-Ray. This wall crawl can be a little tricky, but it's not too difficult. He should be able to get it without problems. He just needs to transition the room by going on that door now, and now he's on his way to Life Grove, where X-Ray is. He's got to ether jump up to the door first. FusionVaria now doing the dash to get out of bounds as well. Fairly close race, all things considered. Oh no! Vertigo missed his ether jump, so he fell, but he managed to save it, morph back out of the ether box. And he walked off again! So Vertigo right now is doing what we saw earlier in Frigate. He is finding a corner to ether jump up of, which again is moving in and out of the box and jumping within the short time window the game gives you. Now he's making his way back up the room now. At the top of the room, he has to do an ether jump away from the outside of the box. FusionVaria now also out of bounds and beginning her wall crawl to X-Ray. So here we go. Okay, Vertigo gets it. He has to He had to jump off the box there to get to this door. Now he's here. He's just got to do some load triggers and then walk into Life Grove. There you go. You see the screen went black there. That means he hit the load trigger for Life Grove, and now he's going to actually walk inside the room before it loads, and it's going to load around him. There we go. So now, part 2 of 3, he has to do the spinner manip. He doesn't have Boost Ball, but he has to get the artifact of Chozo, and he has to do it by manipulating the spinner here. Let's see if he can get it. It can be a little finicky. There we go. He got it. By laying a bomb and then timing a second bomb just right, for some reason, it allows you to use the spinner without Boost Ball, which he did just there. So now he's going to get the artifact of Chozo. After that, he has to go and fight the ghost. He needs to fight the ghost to get inside the cage that X-Ray is in. We can't see it from this side of the room, but there's walls there that he can't pass through. So he needs to open the intended way to get back in there by fighting these ghosts. This ghost fight is one of the primary reasons why this route can be so iffy. It is a very annoying ghost fight. The ghosts have a lot of places they can go that you can't hit them from where Vertigo is standing. They move around a lot. You can't really move around yourself, so it's hard to juggle them. It's an iffy fight in general. FusionVaria also getting the spinner manip and starting her ghost fight. Very close race so far. The ghost fight going fairly well, all things considered. Trust me on this. This fight can go a lot worse. I've tried this route before. So now Vertigo can access X-Ray. Is going to get in here, grab X-Ray, and then for the final hard trick in this detour that they've been in, they have to get out of this cage. Again, they do not have power bombs, so they can't leave through the intended way of Life Grove Tunnel. Instead, they have to do a very tricky bomb jump, followed by a very tricky unmorph to get out of that hole that Vertigo is looking at now. It is extremely tight. Samus barely fits in it, so we'll see how this works. Oh, almost. So in addition to doing that tricky bomb jump you see where they're abusing the bomb refill timer, they also have to get an instant unmorph and then instant unmorph jump out of the hole. And because Samus, when standing, barely fits in this hole, it is incredibly precise. FusionVaria, I guess, just decided to go for the ghost fight right away. She didn't get Chozo like I saw. I must have missed that. She's doing the spinner manip now. So this bomb jump is the biggest reason why this route hasn't been seriously considered yet. It is incredibly difficult, and because this route only saves around 20 to 30 seconds, getting this bomb jump wrong just a few times eats away any time slave. This one. All right. So, FusionVaria wearing the fusion suit. The fusion suit non-Varia version does not have the correct animation for picking up X-ray. So when you pick it up with just Fusion Power Suit, it does that glitchy model you just saw. I forgot that would have been a thing. So Hazel has a setup for this trick, and as you can see, she's already jumping through the hole. So she just needs to get this bomb jump right, and it should work. We'll see. She got it! And she got it! She's out! Oh my god, that's so hype! She got out. Now she just has to wall crawl back to Great Tree Hall. Oh yeah, she never got the spinner ellipse, so she's also going to be grabbing the artifact of Chozo while out of bounds. Yeah, she got it first try, so she was the one that developed that setup and then used it, and she just proved it. It's a working setup. So grabbing the artifact shows out of bounds because she didn't get the spin run up. Now she can get out of here and go to Tree Great Hall and continue with her run. Vertigo still having trouble with this bomb jump. I'm not aware if Vertigo knows of Hazel's setup. From the looks of it, he's either using his own setup or just winging it. But man, that's high. Hazel got that. I think it was first try. So because Hazel didn't get the spinner lip and had to get out of bounds, she's now at the bottom of the room and has to ether jump back up to get to the tunnel so she can leave this room. That's a little low. She got it. Yes, she's inbound. She is good. She's got her items. She can leave now. And she'll never have to come back here. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome to see. This is the first time I've ever seen someone do this route non-TAS. Vertigo, unfortunately, still having trouble getting out of this hole. This just demonstrating that without a setup or without a good setup, this trick is incredibly difficult. Oh, he had the unmorph, but he didn't get the instant unmorph. Yeah, FusionVaria got the artifact. She got it from out of bounds. So now that FusionVaria has the artifact of Chozo, Ice Beam, and X-Ray, she's going to make her way to Flagra. She won't have to come back to Chozo until she gets the artifact of Life Giver and World, which will be at the end of the run. This ghost locks the doors, so she has to fight it to escape this room. I am almost certain that these runners had agreed to do this route beforehand. FusionVaria opting to pick up the safety tank here in Furnace. It's been years since I've seen this tank get collected in any percent, but with this route, it's not as much as a time loss as it would be otherwise. We are watching history here. I don't think anyone's ever done this route on console. And Vertigo got it, so he is out of here. All he has to do is get back in bounds. He's in two. He's finally out. And now both runners can continue on with the route. FusionVaria having a considerable lead right now, thanks to Vertigo's difficulties with that trick. But Vertigo's a quite a good runner. It's going to be interesting to see if he can catch up. FusionVaria understandably taking the very sensible safety save after doing all that. So because of the difficulties both of these runners had in executing this route, any time save they would have had is most likely entirely gone, but it's still very cool to see. FusionVaria are going to be doing a bomb jump over this gate so that she doesn't have to scan the ruins to get past it, which is pretty easy to do. I believe, it's hard to pay attention to both these runners. I believe Vertigo did Ghost Delay. Using a trick that was recently found, you can escape Hall of the Elders without fighting the ghost by going through Crossway, and I wasn't paying attention. It's hard to pay attention to two runs at once. I believe that's what he did, because it just caught him coming out of Furnace through the Morph Tunnel. So FusionVaria doing cutscene right now. That's really cool boss. So its weak points are the morph slots around it, and they're always active. You don't need to actually do any of the mirrors or fight the vines to kill it. You can just dash directly to the bomb slots, morph, and then lay a bomb, and you'll do damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't play its damage animation when you do that, so you can see it swinging at an invisible Samus here during the cutscene. Just got to do that 2 more times, and then that boss will be done. Ooh, getting knocked off by the vine. A little bit of time lost there. Vertigo also taking the sensible safety save and now making his way to Flagra. Virgo doing bomb space jump there. So I didn't explain it before, but if you get an instant unmorph in the air, a certain time after leaving the ground in Morph Ball, you can jump. And so by bombing up, getting an instant unmorph and jumping, you'll get more height than you normally could with just a regular jump. They were also using that in the Life Grove to escape the X-ray cage, which I didn't explain before. Cutscene dead on FusionVaria's side, and Vertigo starting his cutscene just as it's finished. So now that both runners have made that detour to get Ice Beam and X-Ray, the rest of the run will be more or less the same as it's been for the past couple of tournament races, up until a point in which it will change again, but we won't see that until the very end of the run. Vertigo also doing his jazzes to get to the weak spots. And the glorious return of FusionVaria has graced our eyes once again with its beautiful colors, and further enhanced by the quality of webcam footage. So coming up a trick is called Early Wild. Okay. Oh, that's a little bit of dicey start for FusionVaria, but it should be okay. So by wedging into this corner, you can do an infinite bomb jump. You fall slow enough where the bomb refreshes before Samus loses all of them. So you can bomb jump up infinitely up this crevice to get back to the door, which FusionVaria does easily. The reason to do this is because there's a trigger halfway down that room that activates the Artifact of Wild layer in the room we were just in with Flagra. So you need to go down there, hit that trigger, and come back up so that you can start this fight and get this artifact early. Normally you would need Supers and Spider Ball to get that, both of which will be skipped in this run. So it's best to get it now rather than later. And because this route gets X-Ray early, it can use it for this fight, which is great, because normally you would, in the conventional route, you would have to fight these ghosts without X-Ray. But because you have X-Ray, you never have to wait for them to show up. You can just shoot them as soon as you're ready. And because FusionVaria was at the point where the artifact spawns as soon as it spawned, she actually overlapped the ghost death cutscene with the artifact cutscene, which makes it focus at this door for no particular reason while it shows you collected the artifact. Just an amusing little overlap there. Vertigo also going for his early wild bomb jump. I don't expect any issues from either of these runners doing this trick. And runner's doing a quick high five as he passed there. FusionVaria on our way out down to Margmore, and Vertigo on his way to Wild. So now that FusionVaria has the artifact of Wild, she's going to be making her way to Phendrana and picking up another artifact of nature on the way. The checklist of items to get in Phendrana will be Boost Ball, Wave Beam, and Artifact of Sun. And maybe some camera focus to help us see better. FusionVaria picking up the Artifact of Nature on our way through Bagmore. That artifact only needs 2 missiles to be blown up. I believe it was a common misconception in the past that it needed supers, but there's no indication that that's actually the case. FusionVaria going for the fast strat and gets it. Gets the quite difficult dash through that room there. That's not easy to pull off. Vertigo finishing his fight off, getting Wild, and now he is also on his way to Bagmore. Vertigo getting some nice bunny hop strats. It's faster to bunny hop through that room, but more difficult to execute than morphing, but he gets it perfectly. Moving it like that, he'll be catching up pretty soon. FusionVaria going for the Chad dash and gets it. Dashing to that bridge can be quite difficult. And because she got the safety tank and furnace, she does not need to get race tank and do the impossible double bomb jump. Now on our way to Phendrana, just as Vertigo starts his Magmore trip. Oh man, the webcam is not being Hazel's friend today. Almost completely out of focus here. Usually it fixes itself. It should go back into focus shortly. So there we go. So FusionVaria is now in Phendrana. She's going to be making her way to Boost Ball. She needs to get Boost Ball first because it allows her to do a trick that we'll see coming up. Unfortunately, the dash strat is not being nice to Vertigo. He didn't get it quite set up in time. His Tricost Pit also not going so hot. That room is cursed. So FusionVaria doing some jumps and dashes to get Boost Ball without doing the puzzle. A large amount of sequence breaks in this game don't involve any actual glitches, and just abuse the fact that dashing and jumping can cross much farther distances than the developer ever intended to do. There's a lot of sequence breaks in this game that is either just jumping across the gap or jumping out of a room. Ooh, FusionVaria trying to go for the instant unmorph at the edge there, but didn't get it. But it's not a significant time loss. Sometimes those collisions on the race tank. Yeah, I personally call it the impossible double bomb jump. Because the boxes are protruding slightly, they knock Samus around. It can be difficult to line up. Vertigo getting very clean bunny hops through the Phendrana entrance there. So now that FusionVaria has Boost Ball, she's going to go and get Wave Beam at Sun at the same time. And getting Boost Ball first is critical for doing that. She's going to be doing a glitch called Infinite Speed, which requires boost in the GameCube version to function. I'll have plenty of time to explain that later as she's doing it, but before then, she has to do a quick wall crawl to set up the condition for infinite speed. Meanwhile, Vertigo making his way to Boost Ball himself. Hazel's camera going out of focus again, but she just dashed out of bounds there, and now she's going to do what should be now a familiar movement of transitioning doors, unloading rooms to progress through the map when out of bounds. So unlike before, instead of hitting load triggers, she's doing a technique called force loading the room. By shooting a door and getting near it, the room will be forced to load without hitting the load trigger. And that's what she's doing there, because hitting the load trigger can be difficult in that one room in particular. So the reason she's going out of bounds here is because she needs to put the map on the wrong room. If you look in the top right corner as she goes over this door, you'll see that the map will change to the next room. There it is. And but she's not in that room. In fact, she's going to go back into Chapel of the Elders here. Oh, and she misses the morph. That's going to cost some time. That might be enough for Vertigo to significantly close the gap. And anyway, she moved the map into that room because it changes the room's collision state into one that allows her to get stuck into walls, which is going to be useful when she does infinite speed. Baby Sheegoth there just walking up to say hi. Casually approached the Samus. Oh, Vertigo. He gets stuck in the pit of doom. Looks like he's going to try to look for a jump. He may not get one. So Vertigo is currently stuck in a little crevice here. He's stuck against an invisible wall that's supposed to prevent the player from exiting the room. Obviously, as he demonstrated, he got around that. Oh no! FusionVaria falling again to the bottom of Chozo Ice Temple. Okay, so Vertigo can still unmorph, so he can still boost out of this if he wants to, but it looks like he's still looking for a jump instead. Okay, he got one. He's out. And now he's beginning his wall crawl. FusionVaria, unfortunately, is still having difficulty getting on top of the Chapel of the Elders. Or Chozo Ice Temple, that's what it was. Looks like she's opting to do the corner ether jump strat just to get to the top of the room, instead of trying to go through the room again. Vertigo closing the gap fast, though. He's going for the strat, and he gets it. So that's a riskier strat. If you mess it up, you'll fall. FusionVaria now back in bounds. She just has to use this bomb slot, and then she begin infinite speed. Vertigo going to go back in bounds now. He gets the morph. He's in. Now, basically tied up now because of the difficulties FusionVaria had. So FusionVaria is going to morph into this corner and start spinning up. Because the map is in the wrong room, she gets stuck in the wall, which allows her to spin up like this, and Vertigo starting to spin as well. By putting Samus into a particular angle and holding a specific stick angle, the morph ball will start spinning up, and its rotation will increase exponentially. And because it's going so fast, you can see in this 30 FPS stream that the morph ball looks stationary, but really it's just flickering and rotating so fast that we can't see it. And that rate is increasing even now, even though it looks like it's standing still. And once it reaches the maximum number that the rotation speed can reach, the game will glitch out, and the morph ball shell will disappear. And when this happens and you boost, you will collect any item that you can that's loaded, or almost any item. It ignores collision through walls, ceilings, floors, everything. And you saw it just right there, almost synced up. Chapel of the Elders, the room they are now in, was loaded during that spin-up. And because when they boosted when they had infinite speed, they touched Wave Beam and the Artifact of Sun and the cutscene trigger at the same time, which allowed them to collect 2 items and leave without fighting the boss. So that's it. That's our near Fintrana item checklist done. We can get out of here and go back to Magmore. Vertigo getting the desynced Morph Angle. Nice. Hazel also getting it. Pretty close run so far. Vertigo's boost looking a little chaotic there. Hazel's boost going very smoothly through that room. Boost ball can be a little difficult to control in this game. There's a lot of bumps and extrusions and from all the details that Retro put in these rooms, but that could make boosting through them quickly a little difficult. So now that the runners are back in Magmore, they have a few items they're going to collect before they move on. They're using Magmore to get to Farfindrana. It looks like Vertigo is taking the race tank. FusionVaria also getting it. So while they're here, in addition to collecting race tank, they're going to collect the Artifact of Strength, Plasma Beam, and then go to Farfindrana. Because they got Ice Beam and Early X-Ray, they do not need to go back to Chozo to collect those items like they would in the conventional route. Instead, they'll be going straight to Plasma after Strength, and this is one of the big backtracks that this route eliminates. gdVertigo getting the dash and getting Strength without issue. Hazel right behind him. Now they got Strength, they can go straight to Plasma Beam. Vertigo getting an almost perfect Fiery Shores. That sequence of dashing and jumping he did is not hard. Is not easy to do. The rooms are very constricted in where Samus can go. When will they get Life Giver? They will get Life Giver at the end of the run after Mines. After Mines, they will collect World and Life Giver. Both runners, oh no! Ooh, this could be bad. Let's see if Hazel can save it. And she does, first try. They did a bunny hop over that room. I'm getting sidetracked. So Vertigo is now getting Plasma Beam. To do that, you normally have to use these spinners, but by using a sequence of dashing and jumping, you can skip all but one spinner, which we're seeing him do now. He's going to jump onto that tiny ledge and then jump over to the final spinner, and then just activate the slot right away. FusionVaria also entering Geocore and beginning her sequence of spinners. In addition, there's normally have to do a spider's trick, a spider puzzle. You do not have to do that here. Ooh, Vertigo missing the jump, and now FusionVaria is in the lead. That one mistake cost him the lead for now. We'll see. FusionVaria's spinner skip's going great. Gets him first try. So as I was saying, normally this room, of course, requires a very large and lengthy spider puzzle to get Plasma Beam. But by doing a ghetto jump off that pipe, you can jump straight to the door. Look at that sink! Oh man! Oh no! And then she misses the Plasma Beam. So runners both synced up, more or less, at Plasma Beam. Stay calm, Varia. You got this. This race is so hype. Anyway, so I mentioned earlier ghetto jump. This by jumping while moving up a slope, the game adds your jump vertical velocity to the vertical velocity you already have when walking up a slope, which allows you to get a higher jump. Pretty simple concept. Anyway, now that they have Strength and Plasma, they're going to be going to Farfindrana to collect 2 more artifacts and Thermal Visor, as well as Power Bombs, which they need to get here. So, as I mentioned before, the runners will not be collecting Spider Ball, and it turns out that anywhere Spiders is required, there's a way to skip it, usually through just a sequence of jumps. So, now that the runners are in Farfindrana, the first thing they're going to do is they need power bombs. So they're going to be going to Fendrana's Edge to collect them. No, Vertigo getting stuck. That's just something that just happens. There's no way to control it. We don't fully understand why it happens, but when it does, you usually just get stuck for a short amount of time. So this is another room that requires grapple beam, which we will also not be collecting, but just like almost any other item in this game, it can be skipped by just jumping around, which we're doing here. We're jumping on tiny ledges and roots and things like that to get up. And there, we've skipped grapple beam. So now he's doing another ghetto jump up to this ledge. This is the only power bomb in the game that isn't protected by other power bombs. Thankfully for us, it's right where we need it. So by just jumping up to that ledge and going into that hole, you can collect power bombs early, which you're going to be using to blow up that wall to collect the artifact of spirit. Oh no, FusionVaria having a little bit of hard luck. She fell in the water here. This room could be very costly if done wrong. It takes quite a while to get out of this water. Vertigo getting stuck again. So now that Vertigo has Spirit and Power Bombs, he's going to be making his way to the Artifact of Elder that is in Labs, which he will be doing backwards. Doing things backwards in this game usually saves time, and our routes usually take advantage of that. FusionVaria finally outside that water and making her way up Fendrana's Edge. Got to get to that Power Bomb. Opting to take the safer path this time. Doing an R jump to get across the map. So by holding both triggers before you space jump during a normal jump, you can jump further, as the game normally decelerates you during a space jump, but holding both triggers avoids that. And we call that an R jump. So you didn't see it, but you heard it on Vertigo's stream. That pirate just jumped through the glass and killed himself for no reason, which is thankful. We're thankful for that because it allows us to go through this room backwards when otherwise we normally wouldn't be able to. So thanks for dying, pal. You're a real hero. While Vertigo is here, he's going to be collecting the Artifact of Elder, and also he needs a power bomb drop. He needs one because this route is going to be entering mines from the back, and there's a pile of rocks that can only be blown up with power bombs. And he only has one, so he needs to get a drop from Labs before he leaves. Hazel, with power bombs and spirit in hand, now going to Labs as well. Now that Vertigo has Elder, he needs to farm these boxes for some power bombs. He cannot progress through the run without them, and he gets it first try. Nice. Drops in this game are random. They do not take into account the inventory Samus has. So it is really up to chance if you get the power bomb drop you need to continue the run. Thankfully, the odds are pretty good, but it could still happen where you don't get one. And now that we're in Research Core, we're going to be picking up Thermal Visor, and another optional item, but one that's very valuable to have in any percent. Just by manipulating when you finish the scans and falling down this room, you can scan all 3 scan points needed to unlock Thermal Visor while falling. Hazel doing something I didn't get a chance to mention before. Normally you have to do a small sequence of puzzles requiring Plasma Beam to detonate this tower, but by just jumping over the fence and shooting a missile, you can detonate it without doing any of that. And Vertigo's checklist is complete. He's got all the items he needs out of Farfangina. He's going to be going to mines now while picking up an extra safety tank. FusionVaria, having her power bomb, leaves control tower immediately. She doesn't need to farm any additional boxes. FusionVaria grabbing a safety tank and research lab Hydra or Ether, one of them, to just make sure that she makes it out of resource core in one piece. This room can do a lot of damage if it goes wrong. Vertigo quickly going through Magmore on his way to mines. There's the power bomb blocks I was talking about. He's got to make sure to kill that zoomer and collect another power bomb because he's going to be needing to blow up another pile of rocks once he's in mines. So now Vertigo is in mines, the final part of the game. One of the goals of this route is to be able to come here and never have to come here again. It's called one-trip mines, and this route, like many others at this point, accomplishes that by getting X-Ray back when we were getting Ice Beam. X-Ray is needed to kill a Mega Pirate. We cannot kill it without it. So by collecting X-Ray and Plasma Beam and Power Bombs, before we come to mines, we could do this entire area in only one trip. Normally, you're supposed to kill this guy to advance to this room, but by just jumping on his head and jumping up, you can skip him. We don't like that pirate. We don't like fighting him. So unfortunately, this next pirate coming up, we can't skip him, so we have to fight him. But thankfully, these elite pirate AI have a flaw. If we never go directly in front of them after they pop out of their tank like that, they will never fully activate, and instead will just continuously turn to try and lock eyes with you. We can abuse that by running around in circles to kill him before he has a chance to do anything. And this is the power bomb maze. I wonder if Vertigo's going to try to skip it. Looks like he's giving it a shot, and unfortunately he doesn't get it. So this is the power bomb maze. It's random, the length of maze you get. Thank you, Edzen, for posting the maze results. They could vary from 15 to, I believe, 55. 43 is... it's not great, but it's pretty average, all things considered. Vertigo having a hard time getting through the maze. What he tried there before he entered was a maze skip trick. By falling partially down the hole and using a bomb to get back up, you can skip this maze, but it's pretty tight and there's only one shot at it if you fall. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. And now Vertigo taking a safety save here because there's going to be another run killer coming up. Hazel not all that far behind, so if this trick goes poorly for Vertigo, she can pull ahead. We'll see. She's just making her way up past the pirate now and on her way to the maze for power bombs. The reason the runners have to collect power bombs, even though they already have them, is because it's required to collect the Artifact of Warrior. It is scripted to not exist until you collect power bombs, or main power bombs. So, unfortunately, that item is 100% required. Vertigo making his way through Metroid Quarantine A. This room can be a little tricky. This part of mines is where Spiderball starts making its absence known. There's a lot of rooms in mines that require it, and that require some pretty precise jumps and dashes to avoid collecting it. The Metroids, of course, demonstrating that they are the most annoying enemy in the game. Knocking Vertigo around pretty bad, but he gets out of there. So by doing a ghetto jump up to that ramp and dashing, you can get to the door without using Spider Ball, but it can be pretty difficult when the Metroids are hounding you at every moment. Hazel getting 47 squares, so slightly longer than Vertigo, but Vertigo took a couple directions, so she may actually end up spending less time in this maze than he did. We'll see. Yep, going fairly quick for Hazel, all things considered. So Vertigo is going to be doing a trick called Early Newborn. Normally, we can't. There's an artifact in the next room, and normally we cannot collect it until we get Phazon Suit. But by using a secret world where you clip through the wall with this glider, you can collect it early using wall crawling. The clip is pretty precise. It's one of the more precise tricks in this game. It requires a very specific setup with you standing on a very specific part of the glider and then moving at a very specific time in its pattern. And unfortunately, Vertigo having some difficulty getting through. The position Samus has to be in on this glider in order to clip out of bounds is very precise, and unfortunately, there's not a good way to set it up, or at least there isn't a surefire first try way to set it up. This game is not very good with setups like that. And he's out. So I finally got it, third try or so. Now that he's out of bounds, he can wall crawl to the next room and set up the sequence for Early Newborn. So first thing he needs to do is he needs to transition the room here. And what he's going to do next is he's going to transition to the next room. With the room being on the wrong map, it changes the collision properties that allows him to boost back in bounds, which we will see here. Ooh, he falls on the bottom. He needs to land on a very tiny ledge at the bottom of the room in order to get the boost, though, which he's doing now. There we go, he got it. So now he's going to boost a couple times and unmorph, which will clip him back inside the room. Like so. Now he just has to collect Artifact of Newborn. You cannot collect that in bounds at any percent because of the lack of health. The phase on there does incredibly large amounts of damage. So now the final part of this trick is he needs to get back in bounds. He's going to do that by once again finding a back-facing wall, landing in a specific spot, and boosting to clip through it. And let's see if he soft-locked. Okay, so he didn't get quite the right position he needed. He wasn't able to unmorph. You need to unmorph to clip through the wall there, which he wasn't able to do. So the only option was to reset at that point. That's very disappointing, but now FusionVaria has gained the lead. Very close race. I was not expecting the race to be this hype, to be honest. Unfortunately, MQA is proving very difficult. These Hunter Metroids can really ruin your day if things don't go right. But there you go. She's past FHA now. She's opting not to do Early Newborn, which means after killing a Mega Pirate and collecting Phazon Shoes, she will have to come back here. While this is significantly slower than getting it early, it's also obviously easier and safer, as there's no chance of a soft lock when you're not going out of bounds. And, ooh, almost getting the perfect FHB. Strat there. Getting my room names mixed up. So now she's in MQA, she's got plenty of health, she should be okay here. She just needs to dash across this ledge, which normally requires grapple to cross. Gets it, and now she's gonna, I wonder if she's gonna safety save. Nope. Alright, so Not safety saving, which shouldn't be required. She has plenty of health. Omega Pirate should not be an issue. This boss can be a little dicey if things go badly, but not with this much health. She should be okay. So this is a Mega Pirate. He suffers from the same AI flaw as the other Elite Pirates, where as long as you don't lock eyes with him, he will not attack and just continuously circle around. And FusionVaria is abusing this to wipe out his weak points with immunity. And it looks like she's going to be going for Trooper Skip here by laying a powerbomb at a specific point. In his animation, she can skip him calling down the troopers, which unfortunately it seems like she wasn't able to pull off. Opting to ignore them. This could be a little risky. If they land a shot, they can stun Samus and throw off her shots, which are very important in this fight. What FusionVaria has to do is land 2 plasma shots here, which she does. And she needs to do that for one more phase and then lay a powerbomb. The timing for these shots is pretty tight because the game doesn't give you a lot of time to... Oh, did she miss one? She missed one! She should be okay, though, as long as the powerbomb goes off all right. What happened to Vertigo? Vertigo soft-locked during the early newborn trick. Oh no, okay, so FusionVaria's, unfortunately, the powerbomb did not register. And so now she has to do a second round of the Omega Pirate blast off the armor plate phase. She still has good amount of health. She should be okay as long as she doesn't tank too much damage. Yeah, Vertigo soft-locked during early newborn. The trick he is doing now. This trick can be dangerous if not done perfectly. Okay, so FusionVaria knocking the plates off once again. 2-round Omega Pirate, obviously a pretty big time loss, but she's alive. That's what matters in this fight. With only Varia suit and only a couple of E-tanks, those troopers do a lot of damage. Now that Omega Pirate is in the second phase, she's not going to mess with the powerbomb. She should be able to finish them off with just charge beams. Look to your right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yep, just going to land 2 shots. One more phase should do it, and then she should be done with Omega Pirate. How much time does early newborn save? I'm not aware of any modern timings. I think there was one done a long time ago that it saved around a minute or so. I forget. It's been a long time since I watched it. It saves a decent amount of time. Vertigo, once again, out of bounds. He just needs to get to the wrong room now. And try once again to get early newborn. So he's, once again, he fell to the bottom again. He has to land on a tiny ledge to boost back in bounds. More than the top 3 runners do E and B. Quite a number do it now. It's a more common trick than it used to be. So now that FusionVaria has killed a Mega Pirate, she has to go back and get newborn now that she has Phazon suit, just as Vertigo collects his. And let's see, and he got it. Okay, so Vertigo is back in bounds. He didn't softlock this time, so now he can go straight to a Mega Pirate and fight him. He never has to come back here. So, because FusionVaria now has Phazon suit, she can get newborn the intended way, which is just bombing these blocks and collecting it. unfortunately, the missile drops were not kind to Vertigo, and he only had a couple to use on Omega Pirate. So now he has to take out these armor plates with Plasma Beam, which isn't as optimal, but can't be helped. FusionVaria now making her way back to Elite Quarters. Now that she has the artifact of Newborn, she's going to be making her way back up to Upper Mines to collect the artifact of Warrior. Let's see how this Omega Pirate fight goes for Vertigo. Alright, first pool is good, no issues. Yeah, Vertigo got Pirate Trooper Skip, so this makes this significantly easier to do. Just gotta lay a Power Bomb now. And you can see how Vertigo activates X-Ray there. That's needed because the boss can only be damaged with X-Ray active, even if it's a Power Bomb already going off. So he defeats Omega Pirate without issues, and because he doesn't need to backtrack to Newborn, he'll be going straight to Warrior after this. So FusionVaria now making her way up to Upper Mines. Because she doesn't have Spider Ball, another set of rooms is coming up that's going to make its absence felt. The community refers to them as shafts. As a vertical room where the only intended way up is with a spider track, these can be tricky to do. But thankfully there's a lot of very small ledges and a glitch and collision that allows us to get up this room without Spider Ball. So FusionVaria is going to do an instant unmorph jump here, which, as I explained earlier, lets her jump after bomb jumping to get extra height and land on a very small ledge. Now that she's on, after she lands on that ledge, she then needs to set up a specific angle, and then looks like she's going to do the yeah, there we go, land on a second ledge. She's going to set up a specific angle here and then jump into the side of the spider track. The webcam quality is making this pretty hard to see, but she's actually getting stuck without falling all the way down, and that lets her jump up to the top of the room, which she does now. So that's shaft number 1 down. I have to do shaft number 2. Now this one doesn't require any collision glitches, but it's still pretty tight. There's a lot of small platforms, so she's going to jump onto this ledge, and she already did it. I could barely see because of this webcam. Ah, she fell again. By jumping up to 2 small ledges and then jumping up to a very small ledge on a rock, you can ascend this room using nothing but jumping. Vertigo shaft 1 going very quickly. Hazel now at the top of shaft 2. Ooh, Vertigo slipped off there. That rock can be a little bit hard to stay on. Calvin just saying hi to FusionVaria as she knocks him off the ledge there. So FusionVaria is infinite boosting through the rock wall, which you couldn't see from the side, but there's now, and now she's going to activate the laser to blow it up because she has to leave through there again. This is the room the artifact of Warrior is in, and this is the only reason for coming here, is to get this artifact, which we need to collect to complete the game. Vertigo now at the top of... I forget the name of this room. Vertigo at the top of the room now. He's going to be doing the laser and then going back to start his fight for Warrior as well. And just like all the pirates before it, the Phazon pirate FusionVaria just killed has the same AI bug where you just walk around in circles and it'll never fight you. Unfortunately, it seems Vertigo slipped up and activated his AI by letting him get in front of him. Just forgot her glasses, yeah. Hazel's webcam drops out of focus. Anyway, Hazel's now making her way back up the room by standing on a bunch of small ledges. A common theme in this game, if you haven't noticed already. And now just has to make her way up ore processing and back to Talon Overworld. The Metroid's unfortunately making her ore processing climb a little difficult. If you don't get through this room quickly, those Metroids can really mess up your day, bumping you off the ledges. Just like the rooms before, it's just jumping on a bunch of small ledges to ascend this room without Spider Ball. FusionVaria is still in the lead by a small amount. What a tight race, all things considering. Man, this has been epic. And there, Fusion is done with mines, with Vertigo right behind her. So now the runners are back in Talon Overworld. They'll be going back to Great Tree Hall, which they were in about an hour ago. We're only coming through here to get to Chozo Ruins, where the last two artifacts in the game that we need are located. It's just going to be doing some platforming here. An incredibly tight race from these two runners. It's very rare for Metroid Prime races to have both runners in the same room. The skill gaps are usually so large and the time loss is so severe that small mistakes usually make the gaps grow quickly, but this is really close race. So now that the runners are in Chozo Ruins, they're going to go to Hall of the Elders to collect the artifact of World. And I suspect these two runners are going to be doing two different routes. We'll see. I'm not going to say until I know for sure. So because FusionVaria already felt the ghost and activated the slot, she can go straight here and activate the plasma slot right away. Okay, so both runners will be doing the same route from the looks of it. Vertigo delayed fighting this ghost until now. So he's got to fight it before he collects the artifact of the world like Hazel. Hazel now has artifact of the world. Time for the last artifact before truth. That's Life Giver. And Life Giver's on the other side of Chozo, so the downside of this route is after getting world, he has to go all the way to the other side of Chozo to collect it. This load takes forever. Energy Core is quite a long loading room. Vertigo doing a quick pause buffer there to make sure he collects the artifact correctly. That is a joke, of course. He was just trying to skip the cutscene earlier. So now FusionVaria is in Ruined Shrine, another room that requires Spider Ball normally to get to the door needed to collect Life Giver, but just by doing a dash to a small ledge, you can jump straight up to the door. It was a little difficult to see with the webcam quality, but we'll get a better chance to see that when Vertigo gets there. And normally this requires Gravity Suit to obtain, but by doing a ghetto jump, you can just jump straight out of the water without it. Looks like the runners are going to be doing another quick high five here as they pass each other. Hazel on her way out from Life Giver, Vertigo on his way in. And now that Hazel has Life Giver, she's going to be going to the ship to refuel and then defeat the final bosses. FusionVaria getting a free dash from the ship to the door there. Normally supposed to do a small sequence of platforming, but that it's just dashing straight for the ship, you can skip all of that. Virgo opting to do the diet ship dash there. And that's the artifact of truth. All artifacts are acquired. They can now go to the end of the game. Still a very close race. This can be anyone's race, depending on how Exoskip goes. So this is Ridley. Can't do it quite yet, but we will be skipping most of this flying phase. Just one shot short. Vertigo also collecting the artifact of truth and starting his Ridley fight as well. Looks like neither runners were able to get the optimal midair boost. So, alright, FusionVaria just did it. Ridley's flying phase is weak to boost, and boost does a lot of damage, enough to instantly delete Ridley's health bar almost entirely. And it puts him immediately into his ground phase, where it's just a sequence of stun locking him and then missing his weak point to finish it off. Ooh, FusionVaria missing the snipe there. Vertigo did get midair boost, and so it saves in-game time by having Ridley come down to the ground during a cutscene instead of in-game time while the player has control of Samus. So by stun locking Ridley, as we saw just both runners doing there, Vertigo missed the snipe as well. Normally you can stun lock this boss completely and he'll never have to do anything, but that's dependent on if you land your snipes. And both runners have defeated Ridley. Still a very close race, only about 30 or so seconds between these runners right now. The Exo Skip and the final boss Essence will be the deciding factor in this race. FusionVaria not taking the safety save. Looks like FusionVaria is going to be going all or nothing on this skip. If she soft locks now, her run's over. Both runners now in the final area of the game, Impact Crater. Vertigo opting to take that safety save. This is going to be an interesting race. So I don't do this trick. I won't be able to give it justice, but I'll try to explain it as best I can. The reason they killed those Metroids, which you can see Vertigo doing now at the bottom of the room, is because when they respawn with a different AI. And this AI is needed to manipulate the Metroid into a specific position needed to clip out of bounds, which they will be doing here. FusionVaria just completed that setup. Looks like she didn't get quite the right position, so she's going to be trying again. By getting the Metroid into the wrong room, by bombing it when it's attached to you, and then having it try to attack you, and then interrupting that attack at a specific point, you get the Metroid into the position needed. And if it's in the right position, it will bounce you, or it'll clip into you and push you out of bounds through a tiny hole at the bottom of the door. Looks like the clip is proving difficult for both runners right now. And Vertigo gets it. He is out of bounds, but he falls. That's a shame. There's a way to get an instant unmorph jump when clipping through there that saves a lot of time, but it looks like he managed to salvage it by landing on collision there. So now that Vertigo is out of bounds, he can now wall crawl past Metroid Prime exoskeleton fights without doing them. Similar to the wall crawls we've been seeing before, you just got to manipulate some doors and load triggers in order to advance through the rooms. The clip is still proving difficult for FusionVaria. I hope she gets it soon. So this wall crawl, particularly, I think it's just the transition coming up is risky. There's, similar to the doors we've seen before, there's a door transition trigger between these subchambers for the fight. And he gets it. Nice. And you need to hit those triggers. But unlike the doors before him, there's no actual physical doors there. So you just need to know the areas where they're at in order to hit them and progress through these rooms. This going very fast exo skip so far for Vertigo. And there you go. That's exo skipped. Very fast wall crawl for Vertigo. FusionVaria still having trouble getting out of bounds. Not looking good for winning this race from her prospect right now. So this is Idiot, the last boss in the game. The player cannot harm this boss in any way until it lays a pool, which you then use to enhance your arm cannon. So until then, we just gotta wait until it lays it. And now that Essence has laid a pool, the player is finally in control of this fight. And what you're gonna see Vertigo doing here is firing at Essence at a specific time. And what Vertigo is doing is firing him at Essence just as it starts an attack. And by doing that, you actually skip the attack animation and let it lay the next pool faster. And you'll be doing this one more time before finishing it off. And it looks like Hazel is throwing in the towel. She put up a great race, and it was close into the very end. It looks like the Metroid just wasn't kind to her, and she's just letting it go. So GG's to Hazel. You put up a great show and a closer race than I could have possibly imagined. This was the best race of this tournament by far. And Vertigo is finishing off Essence, and that is it. GG. I'm asking the runners now if they want to come on, maybe say something about this epic race that was close into the very end and doing a route that I've never seen done live before. Once again, props to these runners for throwing out this amazing race. I was not expecting any of this. What's up?
What's up?
That was amazing. I was expecting that, and I just want to say thank you for one, doing that awesome route, and two, making this such a close race.
I don't know how it happened. It seemed like we were tied at Wave Beam, tied at Plasma, tied going into Ridley.
Yeah, it was back and forth. It was really exciting. This was the best race from this tournament so far. What do you have to say about it?
I should have practiced Exo Skip.
I should have practiced EMB. I didn't even touched it. For like, apart from the previous race I did.
Yeah, I mostly, ever since the X-ray row was found, I spent like 5 or 6 days only doing those tricks. So I got pretty rusty at everything else.
Yeah, and it paid off. You pulled off that setup of yours to escape X-ray first try, I think it was. Yeah.
Absurd luck. It was first try. That unmorph's ridiculous. Like, I basically gave up on trying to find a setup for it, and my setup now is to just spam start and unmorph, and like just try to get the unmorph input on every frame until it works. And like sometimes it just won't work for like 10 minutes, and sometimes it works first try. So
yeah, that was super hype. Having a little bit more trouble on Vertigo's side. Did you have a setup for that, or were you just kind of winging it?
I always wing it. Yeah, I seem to have the best luck winging things, so why not?
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like. You did get it. Not too far after FusionVaria got it.
yeah, I was saying, we were in a voice call during the race, but even just taking 2 minutes for that is pretty impressive. Like,
I was
that's
shocked.
usually shorter than it takes me. I got very lucky with first try.
I when you were going through Gathering Hall, both of you, and you didn't shoot the door, I suspected you would be doing Thug Route, and then I saw Vertigo start going for the safety save, and that's when I had a very good suspicion that you guys were giving us a real treat, and you did. Incredible run.
It was good, yeah. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, even if I did kind of botch it at the end.
And, well, I think that's it. Unless you two have any more to say, I guess we can close this out. So anyone watching, make sure to follow our runners. Two incredible runners. FusionVaria does a lot of task work, research into Metroid Prime and other games. Great to watch whenever she's live. And Vertigo, the god of Metroid Prime. Really good runner. Gave us Exo Skip, found a bunch of new tech, finally discovered how instant unmorphs really work. Just two great runners to watch whenever they're live. Make sure to give them a follow. Anything you two want to say before we close it out?
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, it was a really fun run. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everyone. I
all
hope you
of that.
enjoy this amazing race. Bye-bye for now.